Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be doing a guided drawing that is going to involve some watercolors and crayons. And with our watercolors, we're going to do that salt trick that we like to do. Normally, if I were at school with you guys, we would be using oil pastels instead of crayons. So if you've got oil pastels at home, feel free to use those today. Completely up to you though, okay? They just blend a little better than our crayons do. So we are doing a butterfly, and we are only going to do half of the butterfly. So we don't necessarily have to have symmetry today because we're only going to do half of it. That kind of saves you. If you have a hard time making things equal or even on each side, you can literally draw a line down the middle and only do half of it, and it will help you quite a bit. So we are only doing half, so I'm going to start on the edge of my paper with the butterfly's head. I'm going to come down a little bit because we want to leave a little bit of room for an antenna. So it's kind of a half circle right on the edge. I am going to fill this in with my Sharpie. If you are using a black crayon or a marker instead, that's fine. Just be aware that when you go to watercolor, washable markers will run with the watercolor. So be aware of that and try to stay away from your marker. So done that half circle, I'm going to come on down. And I'm going to take a line down from here, kind of all the way to the bottom. This is going to be the body of our butterfly. And again, we are going to fill this in all the way up. Typically those butterflies have black bodies. And we're just going to leave it that simple. So it's half of the butterfly's body. I'm going to kind of curve just a little. So I'm going to curve this way a little. Just a tiny bit, and then I'm going to come back up all the way over to here, back down just a little. Okay, we're starting that wing. This is the top wing, so we're going to finish it first. I'm going to start right here towards the center. I'm going to curve down just a little bit. Come on down, all the way across. Start to curve back up. So as we curve back up, we're going to go in a little bit, and then back out to meet that line. Okay, so that's our top wing. Bottom wing, we're gonna curve this way. Just curve it down a little bit. And let me scoot it up, make sure you guys can see this. Curving down this way. And then we're just gonna swoop back up and in a little. So we've got that bottom wing. Oh, let me scoot you up a little bit so you can see. Now we're going to start taking our lines to the inside. Now, technically, everything we're using today is going to be shape, minus this one little antenna, which we can go ahead and draw. So this is our line today. Just drew it up a little bit. If you want to put a little ball at the end, you can. That's up to you. Everything inside the swing, however, is going to be shape because we're connecting all the lines that we're using. So I'm going to start right here. And I'm going to end up right here. So we'll make a dot. So I'm going to start here, curve all the way up to that dot. Okay. Now I'm going to start right about here. I'm going to curve a little bit down. Now if your lines don't end up exactly like Miss Masterson's, it is okay. Or if I draw more shapes than you need, or if you need more shapes than I draw, feel free to modify however you need to, okay? So again, I'm going to start at the same point, draw that line down to here. I'm going to curve a line up right there. I'm going to curve a line I'm going to come over a little bit, curve a line this way, and then I'm going to come up a little bit, curve a line back this way. So we're just trying to create some unique shapes inside this wing. It almost looks like our stained glass works that we've done before. All right, I'm gonna start here, and I'm gonna end up way over here at this dot, okay? Let me scoot you up so you can see. So I'm starting here, gonna end up way over here, but I'm gonna do a little curve in there. So I'm gonna curve down, and then come back a little bit, and go down, okay? From this point, I'm gonna curve back up to right about here. So I'm going to curve this way, and then I'm going to curve to right there, and let's do at least one more curve down right here. Okay, so there's our lines for inside of our butterfly. Now for this, I would pick two colors that kind of go together. So on one of my examples, I've done pink and orange. You could also do blue and green. You could do red and orange. For this one, I think I'm gonna do yellow and orange. So grab those crayons. Let's see, I grabbed the yellow orange. I want real orange. Hold on. There we go. All right, a little bit better. So, and even if you wanted to, you could shade with a couple more colors. So if you wanted to do like a light orange, a dark orange, and a lighter yellow, that would be fine as well. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start inside of these shapes. We're gonna color each shape a little bit individually. So I'm gonna color, and I'm only gonna go about halfway up that shape, maybe a little bit more, okay? On this one, let's do 2 or 3 at a time. So we'll color in a little bit on this one. We're not fully coloring in. We'll color in a little bit on this one. And now I'm gonna come back with my second color, which is my orange. And I'm gonna start at this end and fade into this. So it's a little bit darker at this end. Note. And then I'm just gonna lightly fade into the yellow. So it gives us kind of a faded look. Can you see? So for this one, and I'm gonna turn my paper so it's a little easier for me to color. I'm gonna start darker at this end, and then I'm gonna fade into this. And again, if you have oil pastels at home, we would be using those in class for this project, just to make it a little bit more interesting to look at. Fading in. You just kind of color over top of the yellow to get those nice faded, shaded kind of areas. So crayons are actually pretty handy. You can do a lot with them. So this one, I think I'm gonna do the yellow on the bottom and then fade the orange down. So starting here darker, and then just press a little lighter, and that'll lighten it up for you. And very, very light at the end, okay? Let's do just a couple more. I'm gonna just do the top wing, and then I'll show you the purple. And like this one, I started with the orange, which is okay. If you want a couple of them just filled in with just plain orange or plain yellow, that works too. So here, I think I'm gonna go down and then back up, and then this one I'll go up. So, and the reason we're using crayons or oil pastel is because watercolors are more resistant to that, and they won't necessarily mess up your drawing if you accidentally drip onto them a little bit. So with this butterfly, I would really consider doing a red background, just because we got all these warm colors going on. I think that would look nice with it, or a purple background or a blue, because blue complements the orange, purple will complement the yellow. So you could go through and fill that out. I'm gonna show you my other guy that was my purple and pink. So this is the guy we're gonna watercolor on. Now yellow would actually be a really pretty background with this, just because the complementary color of it would be purple. But because you won't be able to see that very well with the salt on the video, then I'm going to do more of a green background. And because green is the complementary color of red, and pink is basically made from red, we're gonna go with kind of a turquoise, just because it complements it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my turquoise paint wet, and I'm going to carefully, especially if you used washable marker to do your outline, I would leave a line around it, okay? So carefully paint around, and Miss Masterson always likes to kind of go do my outline first, and then I fill in the rest. That way you can paint a little bit faster. So getting all this, and as I go, I'm gonna add just a little tiny bit of salt. And as most of you know who've worked with me at school, the salt starts to make some really cool colors. Salt is what's in bleach, and it will start to push the color away in the areas that the salt lands. So I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of salt here so you can kind of see. And Miss Masterson's just keeping it in the shaker this time. At school, I usually let you guys pinch it. So I sprinkled a little bit of salt. We'll let that sit for just a minute while I paint the rest of it. And it doesn't take a lot. You don't need tons of salt. Some of us get a little heavy-handed with it. Because I did Sharpie, I can literally paint right over my antenna with my color that I'm using. Again, this is kind of a turquoise color. This is a blue-green mixture. If you wanted to, you could do two colors. Like on that other one, you can mix blue and purple together if you did an orange and yellow butterfly. So you could just come back in with like blue here and there if you wanted to, and I'm kind of doing that here just to kind of show you a little bit. And you would just paint one color all the way and then come back in and add a few spots of this color if you wanted to kind of tie-dye it up a little bit. Note, I accidentally colored out of the line right there with my crayon. You can see that it's not really taking the paint, which is okay. Everybody makes mistakes, right? So I'm just kind of going through and adding a little bit of this blue along with my turquoise. And I am going to sprinkle a little more salt at the top. And you can start to see, and you just want to let it sit and kind of dry. But let me see if I can show you this. You can start to see where the color is being pushed away. The salt's kind of taking on the color. And even here, it's kind of got some wider dots in there. But it's a really cool effect once it's all dry and done. I hope you guys enjoy it. Have lots of fun with it. Can't wait to see them. Talk to you guys later. Bye.